Hey, well, go people. This is Kish share all these views and vlogs, right? Now, I want you guys to stay tuned, ride the ride, pause, right? Like, share, and subscribe, and watch the video. You got to watch the complete video to get the game and the knowledge on the teachings that I drop, right? Give me a second. Make sure thing is operating properly. All right, cool. Because the game, when I'm teaching you guys things, I'm teaching myself too. A lot of these presentations I'm developing, these came from things that I wrote down in high school as a kid, as a juvenile. I hate saying the word kid, right? As a juvenile growing up in high school in my 20s, experiencing life outside. Like, I'm not a street nigga or I'm not a gangster or gangbanger, but I was outside. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in East New York, Brooklyn, growing up in Queens. You know what I'm saying? So I have a lot of experience. I've experienced a lot of life with my young life as a 33 years old, 33-year-old male, right, man, right? And a lot of these presentations I put together, like it comes from journals that I've written. And then when I go on the internet, I say, oh shit, other people think like how I thought. It's just that at the time when I was 16, this was like what, 2008, right? We didn't have laptops like this. We didn't have YouTube like this. You see, feel what I'm saying? So I couldn't, there was no way for me to bring my thoughts to you guys. So when I put a lot of time and effort into these videos, you know, it matters to me that people view and click the like and they watch the complete video, because that means that people are watching the game, they're learning from the game, and they're going to apply it to their everyday life. That's what I want. I want to shift black culture, specifically Caribbean black culture, especially when it comes to dating and mating, into a better space. Why? So we can produce more effective, productive human beings, especially when it comes to Jamaica, my heritage. You understand? Because a lot of the nonsense that I see, I've been seeing it. And, you know, like I said at the time, there's no way for me to speak out about it. You know what I'm saying? So, without further ado, I want to use a YouTube vlogger like myself that I highly respect in the space called Sir P. Right? So we're gonna play a video. In the video, he talks about Jada Kingdom and why a lot of good men still wife up Jezebels and why a lot of good women still choose bad dudes, right? So let's get into it. Let me remove that. Add that to the stage and let's get it. We go here.
Series Mars. You transport no. Only Carlton has zero chance. Ladies, let me explain something to you. And everybody I run down, who not interested in the good guys. Good man this and good girl this. But without truck drivers, the world come to a standstill. Big up yourself. Good man this and good girl this. You transport no me ever already. Unicorn meat. Unicorn meat. Start with the woman them now. Ladies, let's be honest. Who no want a good man? Ladies, we figure out a long time. All time we want good man is down the road when time we care about things like stability and anything. When time we hot and everybody are running down, we not interested in the good guys. Can we be honest? That's how the saying "good guys finish last" came.
And I'm actually gonna break down because there's a lot of truth to what Sir P is saying, right? But there's a reason why that program is there, because it is a programming, right? Now, that came from the hunter-gatherer stages, because in the hunter-gatherer stages, women desired men who could protect, provide, and produce, right? But those dudes were the Carltons, right? And they had to be violent during the time. It's just that when it comes to black culture, it got manipulated to now women desiring the gangster aspect or the shutters aspect or the, as Serpi would call them, the duppy bot them, the badman them, right? It got manipulated somewhere. And it started with slavery. The boomer generation made it worse, especially when it comes to boomer Caribbean men. And I'm going to break that down in this video. But make Sir P talk first. Remember to like, share, subscribe to the video.
About it was an observation from society. Good guys finish last.
Watch this now. Let me tell y'all something. Let me put my face up here. I'm not going to sit back here and lie to myself or be delusional or hubris. Because if Jenny Kingdom fling it on me, fling her buckshot on me, me a buckshot, me a take the buck. Yo, watch out. Me a gear the buckshot. However you want to call it. Buckshot you love. And I me a gear. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to lie to myself and be delusional talking about, yo, I have this ultimate deep discipline. Now I have resistance to it, and there's immunity to it, right? I'm not going to make it easy for Jada Kingdom to catch me, but eventually she going to catch me. You know what I'm saying? Eventually. I'm a dick it down. I ain't going to lie. A lot of dudes out here in these spaces, they like to lie about the amount of D Johnson they have. And it's okay to admit, yo, if Jada Kingdom back it up on me, I'm busting it down straight up. Now, because I know that about myself, and this is what, and there's not wrong with thinking that way because we're men. God and nature designed us to be that way for a reason, to reproduce. But because I know that about myself, I make sure to stay away from certain women. I know that if Jada Kingdom back it up upon me, now boss it down. So because I know that my guard is up, my antennas is up, and I'm paying full attention because I know what could happen. You see what I'm saying? So now, like women like that, I limit my interactions with them. And I guess what helps me is because I'm a Taurus. And Taurus, we are very stoic. And we kind of know how to control our emotions a bit better. And our impulses a bit better. Right? So I'm very critical and observant about what's going on in my surroundings. So I make sure to stay away from women like that. Or if I'm engaging with them, my interaction is very limited because I know what I'm a man, bro. And Jada Kingdom, she bad. I ain't gonna sit up here and lie. The rest of you ninjas can lie to yourselves. I'm not lying to myself. You know what I'm saying? This is why you know who you are as a man and you don't be afraid of that. So now when you understand who you are and on the biological level and on the internal level, you understand how to keep yourself on guard and stay away from certain things. But anyway, let's keep going. Not bad. No. All right.
Last meaning when every other man get fit in turn, then you hear say, Kerry turn sister Kerry and Carlton get one chance.
You know, a lot of pastors be 304ing out a lot of those women because he said sister Carrie. I think he's implying that a lot of church women do this because a lot of 304s are in the church. And we know enough of them. I don't mean intimately. I don't know enough of them intimately. I know them. And I've had conversations with them because at one point in time, people used to try to set me up with some of the chicks in the church. But because I saw what the game was, I just said, no, I'm not doing that, right? But what I learned is a lot of pastors in the church, and I'm going to speak about how the pastors do that. A lot of the boomer generation of pastors, they trained a lot of us younger men to deal with a lot of bad women or rebellious women, and they did that on purpose, right? So a lot of pastors, they trained a lot of the younger men to manage a lot of the 304s. And to be honest, a lot of the pastors, they're smashing a lot of these women in the pulpit. So, and they create a lot of baby mamas. So they condition. I don't know if Sir P addressed that, but if he did, because I've addressed that several times on my channel. You know what I'm saying? A lot of pastors, they're smashing a lot of these women, right? And then even women who are just going to the church, Sister this, sister that, sister Riley, all kind of sister that. A lot of them be 304s, right? So what the pastor promises them is a good man because that's what they're looking for. You can find good, stable men at the church, disciplined men at the church. So what the pastor's got to do to keep the women going to the church and paying him money or tithes, he got to condition the men to accept those type of women. But according to the Bible, those type of men are not supposed to be even accepting those type of women, right? Those women have to go through a lengthy redemption process, not half-ass redemption, not a Brittany, what's her damn name? Brittany Renner? Well, she's half Muslim one day, and then she's no longer Muslim, blah, 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 right? They have to go through a long cleansing process of themselves before they can qualify for good due from the church, right? But good due for the church should only be paired up with good woman from the church. And when I say good woman, the good woman that is fisted, like, all right, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, right? And I got to do a video on this, all right? Now, this is what the pastor trains y'all to be. Project managers, maintainers, right? A project manager follows the blueprint someone else designed. Your pastor. Maintainer. That shit Minister Farrakhan teach y'all to be or taught y'all to be. Maintainer keeps things running but never directs the vision, right? So you're a maintainer. You're maintaining something based off of somebody else's vision, right? Or somebody else's program or system. A man cannot lead if he isn't allowed to define the standards of the woman he wants. So I'm laying out the foundational characteristics of the right woman, the woman who aligns with a man's leadership, direction, and mission, right? So I gotta do this, right? So here are the objective pillars: submission, which we know enough y'all don't know. So on a disqualify on yourself, right? That's all right? Obedience. And to the yard man, them, her submission is voluntary. And this is the best one to do it, voluntarily. Right? Sir P says, so big up Sir P, that enough of the guru man them voluntarily submit to the bad man them, or not the kind of boy them, right? Meaning, to you good dude, stop fucking talking about, no, she didn't know what she was doing and she picked the wrong guy. No. She picked the guy she voluntarily picked or positioned herself with the guy who she wanted to be with. Stop taking accountability away from these women. They're picking the guy, like Sir P says, that they actually want to be with. And then they come tell you regular good dudes some fucking bullshit story. Some drama story. Well, Sir P was a dumpy story. I'm telling you some drama story, some like movie story. Some, those old sitcoms you see in drama. Let me show you what the drama story. And you believe that shit. And then you wife her up within 6 months instead of putting her through the process to see if what she told you is actually true about herself. And put her into some uncomfortable situations where to test her to see how she responds, right? So submission, obedience, respect. This is the most important part. You got to teach women how to respect you. And her respect has to be consistent. And she has to recognize your authority, value, and position, expressed through tone, attitude, words, and action, right? Love. Now, love and like, right? These two are not as important as respect, obedience, and submission. Reason being is because like and love can change, right? There's days when she don't like you and there's days when she don't love you. But the respect part, the obedience part, and the respect part, the obedience part, and the submission part, right? The respect part, she's going to respect your authority regardless if she like or love you or not. Submission and obedience, she's going to willingly submit and be obedient to you regardless, right? But this, I think, let me see. This is the most important. This is consistency, right? Consistency. And she got to be consistent for more than 30 days, more than 90 days, more than a year. I'd say 3 years. She got to be consistent. Right. Emotional health, this is important too. She got to be in alignment with your mission, who you are, right? Now, okay. So this one, love. I don't even go through the differences between them, but this is going to be for a separate video, right? So let's go back to Serpy. Let's see what Serpy's saying.
But when Kerry was the hottest thing in the community, Carlton had zero chance. Ladies, let me explain something to you. Wouldn't they say, want a man will do this and do that? Men have figured out that is not the type of man you go for. Especially when you're at your hottest. When you're at your hottest, that is not the type of man you go for. If men realized they had to treat women like Princess Diana to get an eagle eye, they would. Let's be honest here, sister, the man will slap up the bumper. Him not little no shirt on the ground for your walk, man. Him not even open the door for you. When he open the door, him think back at him. Lick your hand in your face, broke your nose. And you still go and give him a back shot. Belly rubber dub, back shot you love. And when you have a rubber dub, at them time the things get rough. Cause me hold you by all your nostrils and I say, hey girl, I'm here to play with you, hey girl. And you just a skin off your teeth. You like them style?
I think I got an answer for Sir P in response, right? I got an answer for Sir P. What is something there? I think it's in this. This is gonna be for later on. I think it's in this one, right? When I'm making these presentations, a lot of times, I really making them to put down the information I know about for myself. And then when I see a video, I go, oh shit, I actually did something on that. Let me go bring up my PDF, my presentation for my PDF file, right? From a presentation. But a lot of times I make these and I put them somewhere, I'll save them up somewhere, and I don't remember what I did with them. I have to go find them again. No, this is for something different. This is going to be for the why men do what they do. But this right here, okay, this is it, all right? Women don't realize how much power they have shaping male behavior, right? So this is what happened. Women can socially program what men do, how men dress, how men talk, how men carry themselves, simply by rewarding one type of man and punishing another. It works like this. Women highlight a certain type of man as desirable. Maybe he's flamboyant, maybe he's soft, maybe he's toxic, maybe he's hyper-friendly. Maybe he is a criminal, which is what Sir P is the criminal part is what Sir P is talking about, right? Women reward men with attention, validation, affection, and access. Men take notes, not because men are weak, but because biologically men are wired to pursue the path that maximizes access to mating. So the reason men are doing that is weak on the social level, because as a man, you're not supposed to put your identity or your masculinity into what women say they desire or like. But on the biological level, he's not weak because he's supposed to go breed the woman or go have the sex with the woman to reproduce children. You understand? So it's not weak on the biological level. He's actually functioning how he's supposed to function, right? And Sir P is not lying, because black men, we are very observant. Men we have observation skills, or one of the underlooked, or maybe it's not underlooked because society uses this against black men and men in general a lot. It's observation. So when we see that one thing doesn't work and we see that one thing is more successful, we're going to do the thing that's more successful to get access to the box, right? Now, socially, it's weak. Biologically, it's not, right? Most people on the surface level, they don't really look into it surgically like I do, right? Masculine, disciplined men get punished socially if they don't match whatever desirable trend women are pushing at the moment. So if you're like Carlton, right, and if you go watch Carlton, he was actually the most masculine person on that show. As a matter of fact, there was a scene with him and Vivica Fox, and he put Vivica Fox in her place. And Vivica Fox was more attracted to Carlton because he did something that was more masculine than what Will Smith character was doing, which he checked Vivica Fox for being disrespectful, which is what women respect, right? Women test the boundaries to see if you're going to check her ass for that, which is what a lot of the more, and I've done a video about this before this one, so y'all should go check that out. This is what a lot of average Caribbean brothers fail at, or the Carlton types of Caribbean brothers fail at. You don't know how to check and correct that woman, and most importantly, you don't know how to dismiss that woman. Anyway, masculine. So that's my response to Sir P right there in this presentation right here. All right. So let's go back to Sir P. Remove, add. Let's go.
Men have figured you out, sister. The man I rubber up here from behind and him a hold you by your nostrils. Him have 2 fingers in your nostrils, head up in the ear. All nose not a fly all about the place. It has to be studied. When time when they done rubber up, it look like one crime scene. At them time, they don't go back to a friend them and say, why, Michelle, the boy deal with me away. All this be gentle and nice and sweet and romantic and treat me like a flower. We know nothing to gossip. We know that's not what women respond to. The truth is, the little rude boy swag thing is very effective on women, especially when they are younger. Now, when time them start get older, now them kind of grow out of it, and then them start look for more like a gentleman. But the argument that men need to be this and men need to be good guys who like lay down them shirt and make you walk on it, and everything I say, him just say yes. You don't respond to that, ladies. Your eagle eye does not get wet for men who you perceive as soft, pushovers, can get your way. It doesn't get wet for them. It's unicorn meat. I have heard women say them purposely tell a man something just to make him carry car. And any in the carry car, him weak. She go back and tell her friend him, say, no, say, me say this to the boy and him agree to it. What kind of man that? No found the man don't even realize when time when I fall in a trap.
Didn't I say that? Let me find a scene that Carlton did that in. Carlton Banks checks Vivica Fox. Let me see if I find that scene. I'm actually gonna show. I'm watching it now. I'm actually watching it now. All right, so I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna show it. Share thread.
And what is boyfriend having?
Green grass salad with blue cheese dressing.
Fair use. I hope the people who are owning the rights to this video don't flag me. I'm using this for a case study. This is me trying to help Caribbean brothers and Black American brothers, so please don't flag the video.
Some blue cheese.
Now this part she had Will Smith controlled, had him change his whole life, what he ate, and all that kind of crap.
Janet, kiss, kiss. Janet, meet Tony. Tony, Janet.
Oh, Janet. I have a sister named...
No, she's just kidding around, Carl, and that's what makes it so much fun.
Will, this is a great jacket.
Thanks.
Are you like saying grace or what?
Yeah, I've been praying a lot lately.
William, if you don't stop talking out of the side of your mouth, you're going to be talking like that permanently.
Threatening to hit him.
Ew, break out the Midol.
Would you two ladies care to join us?
Maybe later. We have to see if anyone better's here first.
Isn't that Patrick Swayze?
Hey, I don't know. You tell us, Carlton. You see, Janet, not only is Carlton brilliant and handsome, he also knows everybody who's anybody. Ain't that right, Jazz? Does he know Janet Jackson?
Jazz is stupid.
William, ever since we've got here, you've been going on and on about Carlton this and Carlton that. Boy, save your charm for the girl on your arm.
Oh, someone has a rude hat on tonight.
Carlton dropped the chip out.
William, my soda is warm.
Yo, Gia.
I need that.
That poor waitress. And if you refer, I've got...
You need more ice.
You need more ice, please.
Uh-oh.
I need more ice.
You need more ice, what?
I need more ice in my warm soda.
You need more ice, please.
Look at Will Smith's simp ass.
What did you say to me?
He said, you need more ice, please.
Heads up.
Look at they simp ass.
Well, I'm sorry, I've got to say something. Janet, your behavior this evening has been completely unacceptable. Carl.
Look at they simp ass. Look at them.
Where I come from, manners count for a lot. I'm sorry I've got to say this, but I simply can't sit back and allow this rudeness to continue. You owe every one of us an apology, especially that poor waitress. And if you refuse, we are taking you home and continuing the evening without you. Do I make myself clear?
You know I'm going to miss him.
Look at they simp ass. And remember, Will Smith was supposed to be the playboy in this series. And Carlton was supposed to be the lame.
Do I make myself clear?
Okay, they over dramatized, they over making it over dramatic.
Yes, Carlton.
Now, the last part doesn't really actually happen in real life. It could happen, it can't happen. But y'all get the point, right? Because I've done that, right? I told this story already on a prior video where I was taking a chick out to go get something to eat, and she said something crazy to me. I forgot what it was. I think she was arguing about the place we was going to go eat at. And I told her straight up, yo, you could go about your business. I'm going to go eat anyway. And she got crazy with me. This is on Jamaica Avenue. Those who don't know about Jamaica Avenue, there's a Wendy's I was going to, and there's a park. I was going to go buy something to eat with her, and was going to go in the park and hang out. But, you know, she loud up herself about it, and she was going to put her hands on me. And I was going to defend myself. Unlucky for me, because how Jamaica Avenue is, police were patrolling that area. So I held up the police, and they came and, you know, got away from me. So lucky for me, right? But that's a more realistic situation. And there were situations where I did check the chick, and I had to check another situation. I was on a date, or going on a date, and I had to check a chick, and I ended the date there and went about my business, and she called me back and she apologized for it, right? But either way, I'm going to check a woman if she being disrespectful to me. I don't care who you are. Right. Now, again, Janet Kingdom may be a bit more difficult for me to do, but I'm going to attempt. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do the best I can to stand on business. Again, I am not hubris enough to believe that no chick can't get me. Or no chick can't get me to follow. And because I understand that, certain chicks I just don't engage with, or if I'm going to engage with them, I'm on guard. Right? So anyway, I think it's very hubris to believe that you're immune to certain things.
Some woman would set one trap for you. She will suggest something ridiculous, expecting you to put your foot down and say you must be mad. And because you go claim say you're a gentleman. And you're so...
Now, Carlton, he was actually the gentleman. But you see the difference with Carlton's gentleman and how most of you guys in the modern time take what a gentleman is? The gentleman of that Carlton is, he's modeling the gentleman standard of the Victorian age. The gentleman of the Victorian age did not tolerate disrespectful women. As a matter of fact, if a woman showcased any level of disrespect, that gentleman was not fucking with her. She was classified as a lady. But most of the modern men, you date women like Jada Kingdom, which first of all, I'm not going to take Jada Kingdom on a date. She's not going to catch me like that, to be honest with you. How she might catch me is in an intimate setting. You know what I'm saying? But she catch me in a vulnerable position. We just kicking it. And one day, I'm at a club event, or Jada Kingdom, she hosting some kind of concert, and I'm chilling at the bar or something, and she just so happens to walk up on me. That's how she might get me. But she's not gonna get me taking her on a date or doing something stupid like what Burna Boy did and buy a damn Birkin bag and then sing a whole song about it.
Sweet and romantic, you must do everything woman say and give in to every wish. You gotta agree.
That's one thing I'm not gonna do. Is first of all, I'm not buying no chick a Birkin bag. The most I'm gonna do, take you out to go somewhere to eat. We're gonna kick it, we're gonna talk whatsoever. And then based on how you respond to me, based on how you contribute to me, we can go from there. But I'm not gonna buy no Birkin bag. You out your motherfucking mind.
Not realizing that
not even fake Gucci.
You've lowered her attraction for you. Sometimes standing your ground increases the attraction, even though it might look like a disagreement. It has the opposite. These are things that the man brain not comprehending.
Then what did I show you how Will Smith and Jazz was reacting to Carlton Banks checking for Vivica Fox? They didn't comprehend, but because Carlton Banks has certain standards of how a woman is supposed to behave, he's still on it.
Because man brain has a conflict or disagreement is not good. But some woman,
and that's actually a programming,
will test you just for you stand your ground, for then say, oh, are the real deal this? And by the way, let's be clear here, sir. Being an upstanding guy and being a masculine brethren are not mutually exclusive.
No, they're not. You can be the balance of both, right? As a guy, as a man, especially because go back to the gentlemen of the Victorian era, right? The men of the Victorian era, or even you go back to the cowboy era, right? Or the old Western era. Those men knew how to shoot guns. They knew how to fight. They knew how to whoop your ass. But at the same time, when it came to a lady, they knew how to be gentlemen. But when the lady was being disobedient, he was stern with her. Like Carlton Banks was. He let her look at that in the face and let her know, yo, we're not doing that. And you gonna do this. And if you're not gonna do this, you can go about your way. So, Sir P is not wrong. When you go back and you look at the history of the gentleman, and you look at the pugilists or how they fought or, how they developed masculinity, they didn't take away the masculine energy, or didn't separate the masculine energy from the gentleman energy. They both were combined and balanced with each other because that's what you had to do. It was still a man's world during the Victorian era. It was still a very man's world during the old Western days. As a matter of fact, during the Western days in the Victorian era, that violent part of masculinity was what was called for that environment. It called for it. You had to be that to survive those environments. But let's go.
You can be both. Just so we understand what I'm going on, sir. Right? Just because they might be somebody slow, we run at the back.
Because in old Western times now, right, you're a good dude, and say you're on a wagon, or you're on a horse, or you're in a buggy, and you're taking your wife back to the ranch, and your wife and your kid back to the ranch, and some outlaws or highwaymen or whatever approach you and try to take your wife and your child. You better be able to shoot some guns. You better be good with the pistol. You better be good with the hands during the old Western days in the Victorian era. So I'm saying, and the women during that time, they needed you. They depended on you for that. So
don't think to be a masculine man. Don't think to be a leader. You need to be like, suck him. That's not what I'm talking about. Don't get things conflicted here.
That is also true, right? But what I'm talking about, I think Sir P said it a little bit in there. What I'm talking about, like, you gotta be ready to get to the real part. You have to get ready when niggas approach you or step to you and your woman and your child. You have to, oh, yo, brother, oh, we gotta deal with. I'm ready to throw your hands or bust gun or whatever you need to do to rescue yourself, your child, and your picnic, right? But no, when you're with you don't be that way with your woman. You still be stern, you still be masculine, but you're more controlled when you're with your woman. She's being disobedient with you, or you're not boxing up her, you're not kicking her up, but you're going, yo, we're not doing that right now, and stand on it. And if she leave, she leave. That's on her, right?
Just talking about,
you gave her a directive, you gave her an instruction, and she didn't want to follow your instruction. Listen, it's better that a woman leave you for putting your foot down than you compromising yourself to get her to stay. You understand?
about for many females, the type of man where raw, enough of them go for that. Especially when time them younger. This is why you might see a man deal with a woman a certain way. You might even see him be physical with her, and she still not left him out, not even 1 centimeter. And you're looking from a distance to ask yourself then, oh, that is because, as I've said before, attraction is not logical.
Yeah, it's actually not. And attraction, you can program attraction. This is why I don't like and love are based on attraction. That's why I use those, but I don't look to those two things as the most important pillar. They're part of the pillars, but they're not the most important.
Especially woman attraction for a man. It's not logical. It doesn't operate on logic. If a woman's attraction for a man operated on logic, Carlton would have get the most girl.
Mm-hmm.
If a woman...
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to very briefly go through the presentation that I showed earlier. All right. Pause on the briefly part. And also on the Yardman on the count. Like, I don't know what's wrong with the Yardman. Everything, I said briefly, I'll take that as why for that. Yeah, no, never mind. This is exactly why we saw in eras in black culture where women suddenly preferred light-skinned men in the 80s, dark-skinned men in the 90s. And Wesley Snipes, I think, well, it's crazy how Eddie Murphy was dark-skinned, but he was very flamboyant. I'm not going to lie to you. But he shot masculine movies, but he's very flamboyant still. But like Wesley Snipes had on a dress. So the dark-skinned representations that we had in the 90s and the 80s, aside from Michael Jordan, but y'all know what I mean, right? So then 2000s came to dreadlock, tatted face, pierced men in the 2010s, and then now the flamboyant, very rainbow type of men in the 2020s. And women's desires interchange. Women's preference becomes a signal, and men move toward the signal because it increases their reproductive success. This is not weakness, this is biology. But here's where the manipulation enters, right? When women reward weaker or more feminized men and punish masculine men, they indirectly re-engineer the masculinity of the entire male population. And remember to like, share, subscribe to the video. That's why we saw men suddenly wearing shower caps, men dressing flamboyantly, men adopting gang culture because women rewarded it. Caribbean men bragging about sleeping with another man's woman because women indirectly validated that energy. Men abandoning traditional masculinity because they got punished for being stable, disciplined, and structured. right? Women don't realize that when they reward dysfunction, they shift the entire male mating strategy toward dysfunction. They literally teach men what to become. Women's public desires act as a form of social conditioning that shapes male behavior. Though reward, attention, affection, sexual access, and punishment, rejection, ridicule, withdrawal, women influence the competitive strategies men use to gain mating opportunities, historically and cross-culturally. This process, known as mate choice copying and sexual signaling, reconfigures the masculine norms of an entire generation. So now, when you have single mothers raising raising these boys, so a lot of single mothers are Gen Z Jezebels, or millennial Jezebels, or Gen X Jezebels, or Boomer Jezebels that raise a lot of these young boys to tolerate and condition them to be attracted to the Jada Kingdoms. The difference with me is because the women in my family, they're not Jezebels, right? They're not ratchet, they're not ghetto. You see what I'm saying? They have their issues and their flaws, but they're not ghetto. Like, they're the old school, loving Caribbean woman. See what I'm saying? So this is why, I guess, for me and my cousins and my older brother, we know what woman to go for, what not to go for. And I have my father in my life, right? So I learned some things from him. So anyway, this is not weakness, it's evolutionary strategy, right? Right? So I could take your time and read that. I don't want this to go more than an hour. I'm gonna try not to. Right. So this part up here, when women reward weaker men, masculinity collapses. This is visible in the entire culture that moves towards feminized men. Long-term pair bonding collapses, family formation collapses, birth rates drop, chaos increases. Women eventually become dissatisfied because feminized men can't maintain structure. Right. Women often reward chaos and complain about the absence of order. Key insight: this is conscious manipulation. This isn't conscious manipulation, it's unconscious social engineering. Women are not thinking strategically, they react emotionally. But the effects are strategic, whether they intend them or not. Now, there are women in the feminist box that know exactly what they're doing, and they're training the average everyday women who don't know any better to take that program, right? So this is mate choicing. Women become attracted to men they see other women attracted to. If flashy, flamboyant, and dangerous men get female attention, other women will copy that preference, even if those men are low-quality, long-term partners, right? Social learning. Women learn what to desire through peer reinforcement, social media, culture, reward, and punishment, mimicking influential women. Men learn what behavior earns them access to women the same way, right? And men can actually do this too, right? Men, we can do that, right? We can leverage what we do. See, when people tell men you're not who you are, you're what you do, that's surface level thinking. Actually, who you are as a man amplifies what you do, and what you do is the reflection of who you are, right? So they actually go together. But what you do as a man is very valuable for society, and I'm gonna do a video breaking that down too, right? So, and you can use what you do with your masculinity, protect, provide, and provision, as leverage to counterbalance what the woman's femininity is. And when a woman is not respecting your provisioning, your authority, or whatsoever, you dismiss that woman, or you stop talking to that woman. This is what the average everyday Caribbean male is missing, which Sir P said. Anyway, sexual selection, even though, Charles Darwin, I have disagreements with some of his stuff, but there's things that he say that is correct that we can use and we see today, right? Women shape male behavior through preference signaling. Whatever women reward increases in male behavior, right? Dreadlock. Remember one time Caribbean women didn't like dreadlocks, and Black American women didn't like dreadlocks or beard. Now all of a sudden they did, and I think because reggae and dancehall reggae and hip hop culture promoted that, because that was used as a more, I guess, anti-white supremacy or rebellious kind of style. So women kind of attracted to that rebellious kind of style, that whole kind of arc, that whole story arc, or whatever, timeline. Apparent conditioning. Reward increased behavior, punishment decreases behavior. So this is things how society uses women to condition men, all right? So, primary researchers David Buss, Randy Thornhill, right? I just brought their names in here because I did research on them. But because if I say it, and because I'm not a big egghead name guy, y'all not gonna believe me. So I gotta bring big science niggas in here. In the modern world, women's preferences are shaped more by fashion, media, peer pressure, than by survival and family building. I came to that conclusion growing up when I used to watch my mother watch all these different soap operas and Oprah or whatever, or the women in my family, or when I used to go to the babysitter and I watched the women over there watch that. And they would mimic the shit that they see on the soap opera. I remember observing this and saying this to myself, and I would write it down early on in my dating life. Because I used to journal. After every date, I would journal what happened because I have ADHD. So I got to go journalize my thoughts to go read them back again to learn for myself, right? So, right? So now, if you go back in time, right? Remember Twilight with the werewolf and the damn vampire dudes? You remember how women were going crazy after those vampire type dudes and the werewolf? You had a lot of those white boys, because there's a lot of white women that like that series, right? A lot of white boys was mimicking the werewolf and the damn vampire because that's what got them access to the white women that like that type of dude, archetype. So that was a crazy arc. The sexual marketplace feedback loop, created by combining economics, evolutionary psychology, behavioral science. Women set the market price for masculinity through their attention. Men adapt their behavior to whatever earns the highest return of female approval, right? Now, men, you can set the market price too. You can say, if you want me to play around in your marketplace, your marketplace got to look like A, B, and C if you want me to invest there. But the average Caribbean male, or the average male in general, Black American male whatsoever, apparently y'all don't know how to do that. If y'all know how to do that, the marketplace would be more balanced instead of lopsided like the way it is. Historical examples: ancient Greece, women favored poets and soft-spoken men, feminized culture. Imperial China, women favored scholars, bureaucrats, hyper-intellectual, non-warrior masculinity. Jamaican Caribbean culture, women rewarded dual, down-man behavior, gang culture, infidelity, bravado, flashiness, which is what Sir P said. This shaped the masculinity identity of the entire generation. Black American, 80s, 2000s, all of this right here, tattoo, hyper, street masculinity, right? The actual mechanism of manipulation. Women broadcast what's desirable. Men shift behavior to match what gets rewarded. Women complain when men they shape do not fit the long-term partner model they want. Right? All right, so I want to skip past this. Right? Men moving according to women equals societal collapse. And this happened all throughout history, right? I want to get to the most important part. Holding a manhood against her desire and attraction. Women's desires and attraction are not fixed, as Sir P was telling you. Their attraction is not logical. They move, they shift, they can be influenced and programmed. A woman's desire can change based on the book she reads, the shows she watches, the music she listens to, the social media she consumes, the environment and friend group she's in. Because her desires is tied to her emotions and what turns her on in the moment. Right? This is why when guys tell y'all should go by what a woman desires, I laugh in your face. So a woman can be turned on by a short guy today, be turned on by a tall dude tomorrow, be into clean-cut guys this year, be into tattooed dreadlock guys next year. That's how desire and attraction work. It's fluid, it's emotional. And yes, it can be pushed and shaped by reward and punishment systems. But what she sees other women praising or clowning. Remember back in the day, if you're a brother, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to the video. If you were a brother and you had certain type of Skechers sneakers and the woman clowned you, the rest of the niggas clown you. Right? When a woman desires you, that part is real. If she desires you, she desires you. But you cannot let what she says she desires or what she temporarily desires reshape who you are at your core. Your job as a man is be who you are. Let women who truly desire that version of you come toward you. Teach her how to treat and respect the man she desires. Make it clear, this is who I am, this is what I stand on, and I'm only going to become more of this. If she says, only like tall guys, and you're short, cool. You be the best short man you can be. You do not twist yourself into knots trying to fit her fantasy. If she says, I like guys with dreadlocks, that doesn't mean every man should go grow dreads just to get chosen. So if the average Yaduman or kerosene, shout out to Sir P, said me like Batman, that don't mean say all a Jamaican man or Trinidad man or Guyanese man must be Batman. You stay yourself, you improve yourself, and align with women who generally value you as you are and as you're becoming. The reason I'm breaking this down is so men understand why they feel pulled to change themselves for women. Because biologically, men want to reproduce. You're wired to move toward what gives you the highest chance at mating. So I'm telling you, so you can best control and monitor yourself, so you don't fall into the traps, right? So. Okay. Women's desires are real, but it's not stable. It's influenced by emotion, environment, and programming. Men must understand their own biological drive to adapt for mating without letting that drive rewrite their identity. The correct move is becoming a strong, grounded man. Let the right woman desire you. Then teach them how to treat and respect you, right? There was something I put in here. How weak men Okay, so strong men historically circumvented female manipulation. This is the correction. Every strong male-led society did three things. Set boundaries on women's influence, not to oppress women, but to protect society from emotional-based decision cycles. These boundaries included marriage norms, modesty expectations, female social roles, male initiation rights, father-led households. This prevented chaotic desires from becoming cultural law. All right. So this is why society is viewing patriarchy as oppressive, and they're taking the negative things that happened in the past and applying it to patriarchy as a whole. Because when things are male-led creates structure and boundaries for the women to follow too. And that actually keeps them in check. But when you remove that boundary, they become chaotic, right? Selected women based on values, not attraction trends. Strong men do not mate based on trends. They mate based on character, family values, loyalty, femininity, stability, humility. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. This prevented women from using desirability trends to manipulate male identity. They control the development of boys. This is crucial. Historically, boys were raised by fathers, uncles, male elders, warriors, societies, guilds, trades, initiation rites. That kept boys from being shaped by women. When boys are raised by women or feminist women, men become weak, women gain sexual power, culture becomes chaotic, femininity transforms into dominance, masculinity becomes reactive, society collapses. Men use to prevent this by controlling male intention, male initiation. Right? Feminist women intentionally selected weak men because weak men are programmable. Naive women were taught to reinforce the selection. Men naturally moved toward mating as success, but only weak men allow themselves to be reshaped by women. Strong men historically worked around this by setting boundaries, filtering women by values, and raising boys in male environments. When men fail to do this, society collapses because it becomes centered around women's emotional preference cycles instead of masculine structure and purpose. And I'm gonna let Sir P play the next, I guess, 5 minutes. It's gonna be an hour. And really and truly, like, y'all gotta build your attentions, man. Because I'm actually kicking good game if y'all made it to this part, and it just vexes me that guys like me can be kicking y'all good game and y'all never watch it. But anyway, or y'all watch bullshit on here. Let's go.
Attraction for a man operated on logic Men who are stable and trustworthy and reliable will get the most respect and love. They don't. Oftentimes they don't. Matter of fact, she will use that man for the stability because she wants her bills them paid, but then she will give an eagle eye to a youth who sleep in their bed from 12 to 12 because you're telling yourself that your life is secured, you know, you're reliable, you're there for her and the kids, and you make sure say roof over head, but that the man in the business, in this gear to back at. You're trying to look at it from a logical point of view, and attraction is not always logical, especially when time woman young. Down the road, then you start to become more logical and say, well, alright, well, he's a better candidate. But just think about the man them you know will get the most eagle eye. Are they the nicest, friendliest, most welcoming men in mendom? They're not. Think about your friend them who are gallus. Are they the best gentlemen in
In the prior video, I broke down the gallus and why the gallus is so effective. So y'all gotta go on my channel and y'all gotta watch some of these videos that I produce because I actually broke down why the gallus is effective.
gentlemen though? Let's start with the man them now. Because there's a male side to it. Because the man one very complex. Man claim to them against women who dress one certain way, walk one certain way, and talk one certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But how much of them women that you see are dead for hungry?
You know something, Sir P? I agree with you, you know. If you look on the internet, how much man blame them OnlyFans chick them on certain podcasts or platform. And then the same woman them when them blame or they shame. They go subscribe to their OnlyFans, they're taking them out on dates, and they know they have OnlyFans. So now I'm starting to agree with some of them OnlyFans chicks that say, maybe you dudes out there are just upset you couldn't wife up the OnlyFans chick. My thing is, why would you want to wife up the OnlyFans chick? There are plenty of women out here, average every day, who look good, who are very beautiful, who have front. You know what I'm saying? What about and I know what it is about the OnlyFans chick, because she appeals to your sexual, she appeals to the sex. It's the sex part. You understand? So you're just mad that the chick looks really pretty, and then you pedestalize the OnlyFans chick, and then you try to get her to not do OnlyFans. So I'm starting to agree with them, based upon how I see a lot of you dudes respond to those type of chicks. Because I'm not going to stop a 304 hoe from being a hoe. My only kickback with the 304s is when they try to do what Sir P said earlier. When they try to get to the average, everyday, stable guy who's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and then you're lying about who you are to get access to him, only to later on come back and fuck him over or cheat on him. That's my only issue with those women. That's my only issue with them. You chose to live that lifestyle, make your bed and lie into it, right? But most of the guys that I see on the internet raging over the OnlyFans chick or the Instagram thought, I think a lot of you dudes actually like them women and you want to wife those women up. That's why y'all argue with them so much, right? I don't want to use the word argue, but that's why you rage against them so much, right? Now, me, if I'm going to correct a check an OnlyFans chick or Instagram thought, I'm going to tell them what I said earlier. I'm going to say the only issue I have with you guys is that when you try to get with a dude and then try to manipulate him to accept you by telling him he's insecure for not wifing you up, when he knows better not to wife you up. Because the average everyday guy is not equipped with the game or the knowledge to wife up an OnlyFans chick or to even handle that. And he's not supposed to be secure with that. So that's the argument I would make with them. But I would not make the argument with them to stop them from doing what they're doing or to get them to save and sanctify themselves to do something they don't want to do, to stop doing OnlyFans. I'm not going to do that. Because at the end of the day, that's up to them to decide what they want to do with their life. Let's continue.
How many Jezebels you know are dead for hungry? Not many. Me go show you how man stay. Yes, ladies, well, the man them go send me and sell them out and inform upon them. But I say go, we no wash no face. Man claims say a good woman they want and good woman this and they don't want a woman who up and down in the streets and have reputation and dress one certain way. But the same woman them who then claim them against, no man no like Jezebel, but Jezebel stay fly, Jezebel stay fresh. Has to be studied. Even if him have him quote unquote good woman in yard, the woman name yard when him say a good woman, 17,000 months pass and the woman here can't catch up. Not even.
Well, Sir P, they got that from the boomer generation of men. If you look at Generation Z and you look at the millennials in my age bracket, a lot of them got that because they learned that from what the boomer generation of men did. Look at Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey divorced his good woman to go marry a chick that's for the streets, a trap chick. So.
Do much less just catch up. She look homeless and she live in her home. Yes, we're going there today. If one did want good woman, if one did rate good woman, only would have treat them better. See, only tell Jamaican girls and Jamaican women that listen, grow up and be nice and don't be a Jezebel and don't do this and don't do that. And then.
But what those women see you niggas reward? What those women see you niggas reward? It's like, yo, you a hypocrite. And then now when guys like me try to come defend some of y'all now, I look foolish. I look foolish. Because now, my argument with that is, right, there are plenty of brothers who are not doing that, who don't do that, who looking for good women to reward and give whatever to, right? And my argument to Sir P, right? I agree with Sir P is saying. The difference between men and women is when a man messes around and dates a woman he's not supposed to be dating, like a Jada Kingdom, or if I fuck up and do that, the entire male congregation in black culture is going to shame me, sucker, or gal clone, or whatever shaming tactic they want to shame me. So with men, there's a big wall of accountability towards us. It's a heavy accountability towards us, like what Burna Boy did, right? Everybody called Burna Boy a sucker because he gave Jada Kingdom a Birkin bag, and he made a song about it. My only question to those guys that call Burna Boy a sucker, what if Jada Kingdom gave him a box, gave him the pums, or her front, or the buckshot? What if Jada Kingdom then gave him a relationship and they lived happily ever after? What if the Gen Z Jezebel got married? Now, that would be a unicorn settings. Shout out to Sir P. But what would you call him then? What would you call him then? Right? But the problem that would cause is what I talked about earlier. It's going to signal to other Jezebels and other good dudes that this is what you should wife up. But, that's a problem in itself, right? But still, look how we call Russell Wilson a sucker. Russell Wilson is not a sucker or a simp because he was a traditional guy. He's a sucker or simp because he was in Ciara's friend zone while she was messing with dudes and get pregnant by different kind of dudes. Basically being a Jezebel. That's what makes Russell Wilson a lame or square or sucker. It's because he wifed up a chick knowing she was being a 304, and he was in her friend zone for a large amount of time when he could have been with other women that would have treated him better. See what I'm saying? So Sir P is correct, right? But my argument to Sir P is that the entire black male church, or black male, whatever you want to call it, is gonna give a wave of accountability, and sucker this and trick that, and simp this and lame that, and use a sucker, or you gal clone this, or you don't often manage woman that, ray. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference.
them woman they are butter to make ends meet. By the time them don't get paid, all them pay go on them rent and pay go on this and have nothing left back in the account. And on the same one, make the woman them on the claims on the burnout. I live like Queen Elizabeth V.
I agree with that.
So what incentive on you give girls and women figure go turn no quote unquote good woman? On the laugh off a good woman, on the say them boring.
I agree.
And run gun, go spend $1 million on the girl that's boring. On the laugh off a good
boy. To Serpy's point, what if Burner Boy had bought a Birkin bag for a chick that actually liked him? And maybe she was, because there are a lot of women that look better than Jada Kingdom that are just regular degular, right? And you did that for a regular chick, Burner Boy, that actually liked you, appreciated you. You know what I'm saying? You would have got a better outcome. See, I don't have an issue with a rapper or any of that making a song about a woman that actually earned that from him. I have an issue with, I don't call that simping, because the woman actually was doing things for him to earn that kind of affection from him. I have an issue with guys like Burna Boy or any of these rappers who are influencing a lot of younger men that are doing things for women who are obviously don't like him or are obviously bad women. Right?
woman and say them boring and go and buy Lamborghini for girl that's boring. And then on the sit down on the internet that, oh my, look at her, she looks like this. That's who you spend money upon, guy.
Yup.
Gen Z Jezebel.
Yup.
The woman then figure out say, being a quote unquote good girl, now carry them gun away. They realize that we not spend the money upon them, we not gone away with them, we not glow up the good woman, we not glow up Jezebels. So a woman who can't hold her own, I go which part of the money there, as them say, follow the money.
Mm-hmm.
Some women just have them own principles and them own values, so them now go switch regardless of what go on. But enough of them don't. Only no want to be realistic. What only rather is to tell people say, oh, no good girl no out there, them girl are wicked. But the truth is, one if a good woman out there, but as man and man, only know anything go. You ain't get this regular. Big this too. Just like how there's no shortage a good man in Iron Man. There is no shortage. Them love make it sound like so the Jamaican man is just this man who, you know, in can't. There is no shortage of good man in Iron Man.
The problem, Serpy, that has to be addressed is what I said earlier, and you addressed it too, is that those good dudes, they're operating off of a bad operating system that the older generation of Jamaican men, the boomer generation, taught them. You know, and I addressed that already in the Gallus video that I talked about, where a lot of the older generation, the boomer generation of Jamaican men, you know what? Let me put the presentation up here of what I was talking about. That's it. No. That's not it. No, let me go find it. My fault. Gold. Jamaicans. And I already made a video of this. And y'all need to go check that out on my channel. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to upload all of this video, but I'm gonna break it in pieces, right? All right. So this is what I said. So this is right here, right? Any pum good, meaning that men are taught that access to sex itself is the goal, regardless of the woman's character. Effect, encourage indiscriminate engagement, removes idea that women should qualify beyond sex, trains men to ignore red flags. So this is just an example of how the older generation of men taught us how to vet women, which is really not how to vet women properly, right? Another one right? Hold on. Give me a second. Another one. Uh-oh, my bad. Another one. Woman on woman. Meaning, all women are treated as fundamentally the same. No framework for distinguishing good versus bad women. Discourages discernment. Punishes men who are selective as too picky or soft. Get your woman. Success is defined by having a woman, not choosing the right one, right? Pressure to pair up quickly. Emphasis is on vetting, observational, long-term compatibility, right? Men are judged socially for being signal, not for choosing poorly, right? So, all of these things, right? Chagwan bud, bad behavior is minimized and temporarily minimal. Red flags are dismissed instead of evaluated. Men are trained, right? Men are trained to wait things out rather than filter early. Reinforces tolerance of manipulation. So a lot of these men were trained by the older generation of men to tolerate certain things, right? So this is why the operating system that a lot of the younger men are operating from is bad training, right? Anyway, I'm going to end it here because I don't want to make this video too long because I know a lot of y'all attention spans is not long enough, right? So pause. We know some yard man out there. But anyway, this is Kish Yardy Game. Kish Yardy Views and Vlogs. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And remember, watch the videos. Watch my content. Subscribe to the channel because I drop game like this all the time. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm out.